Have you ever sat there and asked, why is nothing I'm doing actually working? You're doing the journaling. You're watching manifestation videos. You're visualizing. You even tried scripting and affirmations, but life just looks the same. If you've ever felt that way, this video is not just made for you. It's made about you. Because by the end of this video, you'll understand 3 powerful truths. Number 1, how your subconscious mind is sabotaging you without you realizing it. Number 2, why most manifestation advice doesn't work, even if it's popular. And number 3, how to finally make your reality reflect what you actually want, not just what you fear. So stay with me till the end. And just for the next few minutes, do nothing else. Don't scroll, don't pause. Let this moment be different because your life is about to be. Let's start with something you already know, but probably never questioned. Your brain is wired for survival and not success. That's not just some quote, it's science. Neuroscientists call this the negativity bias. It's the reason why you can remember every embarrassing moment of your life, but can't recall the 5 compliments you got yesterday. It's the reason you keep visualizing your dreams, but deep inside, you're always preparing for the worst. Now here's where it gets even more real. Your brain can't tell the difference between imagination and reality. MRI studies have proven that when you vividly imagine something, your brain lights up exactly like it would if you were experiencing it for real. That's why people cry in movies. That's why you flinch when someone tells a painful story. Your brain believes what you focus on, even if it's not real yet. So what happens when you keep replaying all your doubts, fears, and past failures while trying to manifest something new? Your subconscious mind, your autopilot, gets confused. You're feeding it 2 opposite signals. I want success, and I expect failure. Guess which one wins, always? The one you expect. Let me give you a quick example. A guy called Ethan once wanted to build a YouTube channel. He followed all the right advice, uploaded daily, studied the algorithm, used all the trending sounds. But every night he'd sit in his bed, scrolling other creators, comparing himself, telling himself, they're better than me. That voice, it didn't just stay in his head. It bled into every video he made. It was felt. The energy was off. That's why his growth was stagnant, because your results don't come from your actions alone. They come from the energy behind them. Now here's the trap most people fall into. They hear this and think, all right, I'll just think positively. But positivity alone is not the fix. That's just surface level. What you need is a subconscious shift, a complete rewiring. And to do that, you have to go deeper. One way is to use the loop breaker technique. It's simple but effective. Every time you catch yourself spiraling into doubt or fear, don't suppress it. Pause, label it, say out loud, this is just my old programming. And then replace it with a new loop. Visualize the outcome you do want, and more importantly, feel it. Breathe like the version of you who already has it. Speak like them. Stand like them. That's not pretending. That's training. That's reconditioning your nervous system to feel safe in success, not just in survival. And if you're still doubting this, let me tell you what Stanford psychologists found. Repeated emotion-based visualization literally changes the pathways in your brain. It's called neuroplasticity. Your mind is moldable. The problem isn't your ability, it's your consistency. So what happens when you do this every day? You become a magnet, not in the spiritual buzzword kind of way, but in the way energy works. Because like attracts like. That's physics, that's emotion, that's biology, and that's manifestation grounded in reality. Now, let's loop it back. Why isn't it working for most people? Because they never go past the surface. They say affirmations while still believing they're not enough. They visualize while still expecting pain. They chase results while running away from their own minds. So let me ask you, are you chasing the life you want or running from the one you have? By the end of this, you'll know that the real secret is not about controlling the world. It's about controlling what you reflect into it. The outside world is your mirror. Change the signal, and the reflection has no choice but to follow. Let's go deeper, because what we're really talking about here isn't just manifestation or mindset. It's the art of self-reflection in a world that constantly tries to distract you from yourself. Ever wondered why some people seem to walk into rooms and everything just falls into place for them? Not because they're lucky, it's because they are in sync. Their internal world is clean, focused, intentional, and life responds to clarity. But for most of us, clarity is rare. Why? Because we're never really alone with our thoughts. Not truly. We jump from one dopamine hit to another, scrolling, switching, refreshing, never stopping long enough to ask, what do I really want? Now let me ask you something. When was the last time you sat in complete silence? No music, no screen, just you and your own mind. I'll tell you why that silence is terrifying for many, because it echoes. It reveals everything you've been trying to avoid. The fears, the unresolved guilt, the doubt. But that silence, that exact space, is where all transformation starts. That's the waiting room of the new you. Let me paint you a picture. Think of a radio. Your desires, your goals, are being broadcast on a specific frequency. But if your mind is filled with static, negative self-talk and conflicting beliefs, you're never tuned in. It's like trying to hear a love song on a news channel. Doesn't matter how much you want it, you're on the wrong frequency. And this is where most people mess up. They focus only on doing more books, more courses, more routines, but they forget to subtract the noise, to remove the chaos, to simplify. You can't fill a cup that's already full, especially if it's full of confusion. So, what do? You recalibrate, just like a compass that needs realigning when it's thrown off. You sit with yourself and ask, what am I still carrying that doesn't belong to me anymore? Could be a belief from childhood. Could be something your parents said in passing that you took as truth. Could be a moment you failed and decided that failure was your identity. A woman named Marissa once told me she kept visualizing wealth, writing down "I am abundant" every day, but her bank account was still bleeding. And when we dug into it, you know what we found? Her father used to say, "Rich people are selfish." So no matter how much she said she wanted money, her subconscious was trying to protect her from becoming what her family told her was bad. That's the trap. You're not lazy. You're just protecting a version of yourself that's no longer relevant. Your beliefs are old software running on current hardware. You need an update, but updates only install when the system is paused. That's why reflection isn't optional, it's essential. And if you're still listening right now, you're already doing something 99% of people won't do. Sitting with the discomfort of truth. That's rare, that's valuable, because soon you'll see the patterns, the same thought loops, the same emotional spirals. And with that awareness, you'll start doing what few people can, choosing your response. Now, here's where it gets fascinating. Neuroscientists have proven that just by becoming aware of your thoughts in real time, you weaken their automatic power. That's called metacognition, the ability to think about your thoughts. It's like stepping into the control room of your own mind and saying, no, we're not running that program anymore. And that's when the shift begins. Not when you force the world to change, but when you stop reacting and start responding. The moment you stop living like a victim of your thoughts and start acting like the author of your experience. And this is where overthinking sneaks in. Quietly, invisibly, like background noise you've gotten so used to, you forget it's even there. You think you're reflecting, but you're actually looping. You're not solving anything, you're spiraling. How to stop overthinking? That's what everyone's searching. But let me tell you, most people don't even realize they're doing it. It feels like preparation, like productivity. You convince yourself that running every scenario in your head is you being responsible, cautious, maybe even smart. But what it really is fear, disguised as logic. Overthinking is the silent killer of peace, of relationships, of progress. Think about it. How many opportunities have you missed because you were busy thinking it through? How many texts did you never send? How many risks did you never take? Not because you were lazy, but because your mind kept playing chess against itself. You plan for every possible outcome, but still end up stuck. Why? Because the mind was never meant to live entirely in the future. Here's something powerful. Your brain's primary function isn't to make you happy. It's to keep you safe. So when you try to calm the mind, and it resists, it's not because you're broken. It's because your brain is doing its job. It doesn't care if you grow. It cares if you survive. And anything unfamiliar, even success, even love, even peace, can feel dangerous to a brain trained in chaos. There's a woman I know who couldn't sleep for weeks. She kept saying her mind wouldn't shut up. Thoughts kept running. What if this goes wrong? What if they leave me? What if I mess it up again? So I asked her one question. What would happen if you didn't solve this in your head? And she froze, because she didn't know. She had never tried. She had trained her brain to believe that worrying was action, that the only way to feel in control was to think more. But here's the truth most people avoid. You cannot think your way into peace. You cannot solve emotional chaos with mental equations. You have to feel your way through it. You have to stop negotiating with thoughts that aren't even true. You have to retrain your brain to stop equating noise with safety. So how do you retrain your brain and stop overthinking? You break the loop, not with force, but with awareness. Next time your mind starts spinning, pause. Literally stop. Say out loud, I'm spiraling. That tiny moment of interruption tells your brain that you are in control now. Then breathe. Deep, intentional breath. That's not spiritual fluff, it's neuroscience. Long exhales activate your parasympathetic nervous system. That's your natural calm down switch. Do it consistently, and your brain learns a new path. That racing mind starts to slow down, and slowly you begin replacing reaction with reflection, panic with presence. You want mental clarity? Start by lowering the noise. You want inner peace? Stop feeding the fire of doubt with the oxygen of attention. Because here's the truth, your thoughts are not reality, they're suggestions. And you don't have to accept all of them. Let's be real. You'll never fully stop overthinking forever. That's not the goal. The goal is to not let overthinking own you. You learn to see it, name it, and gently guide your mind back to center, back to breath, back to now. And when you do that, when you build that muscle, something incredible happens. You start living fully, authentically, in the moment, not as a prisoner of the past, not as a hostage to the future, but right here where life is actually happening. So here we are. You made it. Maybe a little calmer, maybe a little more aware, maybe just a little more quiet inside. And I want you to take a second to really feel that. This wasn't just a video. This was a mirror. A gentle pause in the chaos of your scrolling. A breath in a world that rarely gives you one. And if you felt something shift, even a little, I want you to hold on to that. Because that's how real change begins. Not in one huge leap, but in small, quiet moments where you realize, wait, I've been living like this for years and I don't have to anymore. You've learned a lot in these last few minutes, whether you realize it or not. You learned how your brain loops thoughts not to help you, but to protect you. You learned how overthinking is not thinking harder, it's thinking yourself out of peace. You learned how stillness isn't a luxury, it's a weapon. You learned how presence isn't some abstract concept. It's a practice, and you now know how to return to it. And you know what? There's one more thing I want you to do. Not for me, for you. Think of a moment in your life when overthinking stole something from you. A relationship, an opportunity, a day that should have felt good but didn't because your mind was too loud. Feel that moment again, just for a second. Not to hurt yourself, but to honor the version of you that lived through it without knowing what you know now. Because today, that version of you changed. This version of you has a new tool, a new way to handle the noise, and that's something worth remembering. So here's what I want you to do before you close this. In the comments, write down what you're feeling right now, seriously. Not for likes, not for attention, but for yourself. Say what changed, even if it's just one sentence, and then come back in 3 days. Read it again. See how your thoughts feel different. I promise you, something will shift. Because reflection isn't just about looking back, it's about showing your future self what healing looks like in real time. And hey, if this video meant something to you, don't just keep it to yourself. Share it with one person you care about. Just one. Because we're all fighting battles in our heads that no one else sees. Sometimes all it takes is one video to feel a little less alone in it. Also, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Not just because it supports the channel, but because every single subscriber this year is tied to something real. For every new subscriber, we're donating 1 cent at the end of this year to causes you can vote for. That means your click doesn't just help this message spread, it helps real people in the real world, and you get to be part of that. So yeah, maybe today felt different. Maybe this is the first time in a long time your mind went quiet for a second. And maybe, just maybe, it's not the last time. See you again when you're ready to go even deeper. Until then, breathe. You're doing better than you think.